attempt at a parry aside. One heel hook around his ankle swept his legs, and Thatcher fell, landing with a thud on the flat of his back at my feet. The impact sent his weapon skidding away over the cobblestones. He stiffened, eyes wide, as I pressed the point of my blade against the hollow of his throat. "Care to guess why you lost this time?" I growled through my teeth. He began to stammer. I added a bit more pressure to the blade, and he immediately snapped his mouth shut. "You lost because I told you to end it," I snarled as I glowered down at him. "And instead, you hesitated on the finishing move and refused the kill. How about guessing what happens if you do that in a real fight?" He swallowed hard and looked away, face flushing with embarrassment. "I die." "Yes, you die. Maybe think about that instead of whatever is keeping you from taking the final strike." Withdrawing my sword, I stepped back and offered down a hand to drag him back to his feet. "That's enough for now. Javid wants us ready to move out by tomorrow night, and you're no good to anyone if you're too tired to lift your blade at all." He cast me one of those signature Thatcher puppy-eyed looks of shame. "I'm sorry, Murdoch. I really am trying." I sheathed my weapon and shrugged. "I know, but you have to try harder. Your mental state is more important than whatever skill you have. If you go into the fight uncommitted to what you're about to do, then it wouldn't matter if you knew every combat maneuver known to man. You'd still lose." He bobbed his head like he understood. Only, I knew he didn't. He'd only gotten a few tiny tastes of real combat now. He'd seen it plenty of times, yes, but actually being on the opposite end of a bladed weapon in a fight for your life? That was completely different. It wasn't even comparable to firing that crossbow of his. "Let's get something to eat," I suggested, as he trudged along after me, still moping. Usually the mere mention of food was enough to get him to stop that nonsense. It worked this time, too. His face brightened, and he jogged to catch up, bouncing along beside me like an excited rabbit. "Do you think we could go down to one of the street vendors? There's one selling sweet cakes with honey cream inside them, and He stopped suddenly. I stopped, too. Before I could stop it, my face drew into a sour frown. Leaning in the doorway that led back into the house, Javid Broadfeather had his arms crossed and a pensive expression as he watched us. The wind stirred in his shoulder-length gray hair, and his thoughtful squint made that long scar over his eye wrinkle along his brow and cheek. I guess he'd been watching our practice the entire time. Great. "Well, that's quite an improvement over the last time I saw you duel," Javid said, as Thatcher strolled up to meet him. His face flushed, making him look like someone had thrown a handful of hay on top of a big beet. Thank you, sir. But it's really all because of Murdoch. He's a good teacher." "Apparently so," Javid agreed, his steely-hued gaze intense and appraising. He studied me for a moment, seeming to measure his words carefully before he straightened and cleared his throat. "Thatcher, could you give us a moment? I need to speak with Murdoch about something alone." Thatcher glanced between us worriedly as he stammered, Yeah, sure. I'll just, wait out here, then." Javid nodded. "We won't be long. Come with me, please." I sighed, not meeting any of Thatcher's worried looks as I followed Javid into the porter's house. He might have been confused about what the great Javid Broadfeather wanted to speak to me about, but I wasn't. In fact, I had a pretty good idea what he wanted. Or at least, I thought I did. Right up until he glanced back just long enough to mutter, "This isn't about Thatcher."